There's one power, invisible, and you see it everywhere and every day. One power, indescribable, and you speak of it with every word you say. Mysterious until you know the truth. As simple as the love inside of you. Call it God, call it Spirit, call it Jesus, call it Lord, call it Buddha, Baha'u'llah, angels' wings or heaven's door. But whatever name you give it, it's all one power, can't you see? It's the power of the love in you and me. One power, one power.
Good morning and welcome to the Centers for Spiritual Living Midtown, Atlanta, where you are welcome. Whoever you are, well, first, such is the nature of life that all it wants and all it asks is the opportunity to appear. You are that opportunity, and so am I, and so it is. Whoever you are, whatever brought you here today, please know that you are welcome and celebrated. We know who you are. You're an individualized expression of the divine life in which we all live. We are life's opportunity to be someone unique and wonderful. Whatever ethnic background, religious affiliation, however you know yourself or describe yourself, we are glad you are joining us here today, whether you're in person, online, or listening to us later. And we appreciate that. So if you would share us on social media with all your friends and let them know about us here as well. We are a strong, open, globally connected community centered on the clarity of principle through teaching, service, and practice that creates a safe and respectful environment that supports healthy spiritual growth. And now I'd like to share with you some of our declarations of principles as created by our founder, Ernest Holmes.
A few of the declaration of principles we live by.
I believe in one God, one absolute power, and first cause to all things.
I believe that this power is perfect love, and it creates out of a desire to express love.
I believe all thought is creative, and how I choose to think creates my personal experience.
I believe in the unity of all life, and the immortality of the individual soul forever unfolding.
I believe in the eternal goodness, the eternal loving kindness, and the eternal givingness of God to all.
And so it is.
So grateful, hey.
All right. So a practitioner is someone who's demonstrated the ability to use spiritual practice and spiritual laws to bring about great changes in their lives. They've demonstrated that they know how to bring about these changes in others when asked. Licensed by Centers for Spiritual Living, they are able to provide spiritual guidance and support in those areas where you are looking for assistance. You can contact them through our website, cslmidtown.org. Click on the people and practitioners, and you can see who they are and connect with them. Today, we have one of our wonderful practitioners to bring good ideas and an affirmative prayer called the Spiritual Mind Treatment. Welcome, Maya Fuller. Thanks.
Greetings. Thank you, Vance. Greetings and good morning, CSL Midtown. It is definitely my honor to serve as your practitioner this morning. The title of today's talk in terms of what CSL Global has presented for the week is titled The Holy Land is Everywhere. I don't know if Reverend Ray is speaking exactly on that topic, if his talk title is a little bit different. But I am going to do a treatment related to the Holy Land being everywhere, because as most of us know, at this moment, the United States is experiencing a government shutdown. And for many, this stirs feelings of frustration and fear and uncertainty. As my many other things that are happening in this country and in this world these days. So this is a time when it seems like the ground beneath us, like where we just live our foundational life, can feel unstable. And the structures that we've come to rely on to be able to depend on, in the United States government, they seem fractured and, at this point actually even paused, right? And yet this teaching calls us not to turn away from such moments. It calls us to look deeper, to know the truth in the midst of appearances, to remember that the divine is not confined in sanctuaries, temples, or churches, or sacred lands, or sacred spaces. The divine is present everywhere, in every place, in every moment, in every heart, in every land. So this morning, I'm going to go directly into spiritual mind treatment for peace, stability, and divine order. First, in ourselves is where everything begins. And of course, in our country and in our world. So I invite you to settle in with me for a spiritual mind treatment so we can know the highest and best truth with power and poise, realizing the highest and best of truth of what we're experiencing right now. So I invite you to settle into your seat, maybe close your eyes, move into a posture of receptivity, of groundedness, as I recognize that there's one presence, one power, one infinite intelligence that governs all life. It is the source, the sustainer, the creative essence that animates everything and everyone. It is absolute, unshaken by shifts in the world, unshaken by shifts in the economy, unshaken by shifts in our government administration. The creative power and perfect peace of the universe is absolute. It is total wisdom. It is pure order and love. This presence is not outside of life. It's not outside of the United States. It's not outside of our governments. It is the life that stands behind all things. It's the invisible life, the invisible presence that stands behind all things, whether we can see them or not. It moves through every blade of grass, every star, every breath. It is present in every office of government, every home, every heart. There is no place where God and the goodness of God is not. And this presence is in me, as me right now, expressing itself through the very awareness that I hold right now. The very awareness that you have right now is the awareness of God. It lives in each of us. It lives in the nation. It lives in the systems and structures. They might not seem perfect, but because of the divine intelligence that permeates all, seeking ever greater expression through us, what we experience all the time is God in action if we only have eyes to see. So today I affirm peace. On the outside, there might still be conflict, but peace is an active living vibration of harmony and right action that appears at all levels of living and is available at all times. I declare divine order, rising up and even in the midst of what looks like disruption right now. I know that clarity and wisdom are alive in the consciousness of every decision maker, every leader, every citizen, and everyone present right now. Divine order, clarity, wisdom rise up in me right now. For I know that as within, so without. Everything is a reflection of consciousness. And so I do my part by being grounded in order, in wisdom, and clarity, and peace. And as such, I speak calm into the collective. I speak grounding into the anxious places and the anxious corners and the anxious people. I use my power of my word to speak peace. I speak assurance into the fear. The spirit that governs the stars also governs our society. Not through force, but through divine law and spiritual evolution. Not through chaos, but through order. So even now, I declare that something higher is being born. That within every point of consciousness, even within the shutdown, a higher realization is unfolding. That the soul of the country is not lost. The soul of the country is awakening. It's being shaken up and being shaken awake, becoming awoke. And I speak this truth not only for the nation, but for each person hearing this prayer. For every heart feeling overwhelmed or discouraged, for those whose finances are being impacted, for those whose trust in the system is being impacted, I affirm the deeper government, the divine government that is always intact, always whole, always at work. For that divine government is the goodness of God, ever present, always unfolding, never in absence. That's the presence that cannot be voted out. That's the presence that cannot be shut down. This is the presence that cannot be furloughed. It governs in wisdom, in love, and clarity. And it lives through us as our commitment to seeing that in all the places. And I give thanks for this truth. And I give thanks for each one of us here who is committed to seeing the God and the triumph and the goodness and the wholeness in all things. I give thanks for the unseen currents of spirit that are bringing all the things back into alignment in ways that we may not see, but which are already set in motion by the law. Because I have spoken this word and declared it to be so. And so many speakers and ministers and teachers and peacemakers have spoken this law, are speaking this law, and are ushering in, giving birth on this physical plane to the peace that is in the invisible, the alignment with goodness that is already present in the invisible. We together are the midwives bringing this into fruition. So I release this word into the law, into the infinite intelligence of the universe that always responds, always acts, always fulfills. My word shall not return unto me void. And for this I give thanks, and I let it be. And so it is. And now, our music for reflection. Namaste.
Pay attention to the trees. Pay attention to the river. Pay attention to the bees. Pay attention to the clouds. Pay attention to the weather. Pay attention to everything we do to the mother. We do not inherit the earth from our ancestors. We are just borrowing it from our children. From our children. Pay attention to the hills. Pay attention to the water. Pay attention to the breeze. Pay attention to the dreams. Pay attention to the wisdom. To the sisters and brothers living close to the earth. Whatever befalls the earth befalls our sons and daughters. And what we do to the earth, we do to ourselves. We do to ourselves. So we better pay attention to the birds. Pay attention to the forest. Pay attention to the streams. Pay attention to the snow. Pay attention to the glaciers. To the frost line and coastline and coral beneath the sea. This we know, the earth does not belong to us. We belong to the earth. We belong to the earth. So we better pay attention, pay attention. Pay attention to the waves. Pay attention to the ocean. Pay attention to the reefs. Pay attention to the heart. Beating steady in the mother. Our generations will pay for our ways. We are nearly stranded in it. Whatever we do to the web, we do to ourselves. Oh, we do to ourselves. So we better pay attention.
Welcome back. It's my privilege to introduce our speaker this morning. Reverend Dr. Raymont Anderson is our speaker today, and Reverend Dr. Ray's reputation as a lover of music and comic books is well known. What many do not know is how that love laid the foundation for his passion of exploring the metaphysical aspects of these modern myths and the power behind the stories we create and live. His eclectic background, educator, ASL interpreter, 10 degrees, 8 ordinations, diverse skill set. He's a martial artist, a performance artist, a visual artist, does American Sign Language. He's a workshop and seminar facilitator and a public speaker. With a goofy sense of humor and deep introspections and observations, have given him a unique approach and ability to simplify complex metaphysical and spiritual ideas, making them understandable and applicable to everyday life, which are among the qualities which he especially is appreciated. As a founding member of minister of the Center for Spiritually Integrated Arts, he feels inspired and energized to manifest beyond the beloved community and to elevate New Thought and CSL as household names in a world that genuinely works for all and offers powerful healing to all. Welcome, Reverend Dr. Raymont Anderson.
Thank you so much, Vance. Hello, everybody. This is Reverend Dr. Goofy. Good morning and blessings, beloved CSL Midtown family. As always, it is an honor and a pleasure to be with you. Did you know that it was this time last year that I was with you in person? Just saying, memories. So today, as Maya introduced for her prayer, her spiritual mind treatment, and to lay the groundwork, and that amazing song, Earth Mama, is setting the intention, setting the energy for today's message. Yes, the Holy Land is everywhere. Breathe. Now, before we get in there, I want to ask you a couple of questions to start us off. Number one, if you're ready, or as we used to say as kids, ready or not. Question number one, why is it important to give reverence to the earth? Why is it important to honor the earth? I mean, isn't it just a big round ball of dirt and stuff flying through the galaxy? Why honor it? Why revere it? The full answer might shock and surprise you, but we're going to get to that in a moment. Question number two, if you are ready. What does it look like to honor the earth? To hold the earth in high esteem, to revere it? And in honor of Indigenous Peoples Day, how can we find greater inspiration from our Indigenous siblings who tended to this turtle island and tended to the ground and all creatures in ways that we, many of us, have forgotten, if we ever knew, how to take care of Mother Earth? Breathe. So there's this idea, yes, the Holy Land is everywhere. Holy. Now, there's a couple of places we could talk about holy. You know, it's the root of holistic, meaning whole, as in talking about whole, perfect, and complete. Holy is that which is, quote unquote, worthy of being revered, respected, having a sense of devotion towards whatever this thing is that we're deeming holy. It is the idea of venerating something or placing it as sacred, having a divine quality. So the Holy Land is everywhere. That means the everywhere is sacred. The everywhere is divine. Huh. So wait. Hold on a second. Talk amongst yourselves. I'm trying to grasp this idea of the sacred, that which is connected not simply with God, but that which is God expressing. The sacred is everywhere. Wait a minute. Don't we say there is only one mind, and that mind is God? And that mind is, okay, fill in the blank. And that mind is my mind now. And your mind now. Okay, there is only one life, and that life is fill in the blank, and that life. Okay, wait, but. And then we say things like God is this omnipresent, omniscient. Okay, but wait, I'm still thinking. So wait a minute. What if God is not omnipresent, but God is omnipresence to such a degree that because there is no where other than God, there is no where for God. You get what? Okay. Where I am is Delaware. Where some of you are, Atlanta, right? Some of you, right? Colorado. Okay, right. So very different, various locations. Yes. And in the relative, we understand place, location, GPS, calculating, find me, get me there. Yes. But when God is all there is no location. There's not a spot where God is not. God is infinite presence, all that is. So within that, as that, the absolute of it, there is no where. It's simply the sacred, the all. So, have you ever thought about this idea of capitalism and or toxic capitalism and colonization, where we have this idea that the earth is a commodity, right? Like the earth is for sale, which you're going to see in the slide that's getting ready to come up. The earth being for sale. And as we heard in the song Earth Mama, we heard some of the lines from Chief Seattle. So I'm going to share a quote for you, referencing this idea of for sale, the earth being for sale. How can you buy or sell the sky, the warmth of the land? The idea is strange to us, right? And keep in mind, this is Chief Seattle speaking as the indigenous peoples, okay? Keep that in mind. The idea is strange to us if we do not own the freshness of the air and the sparkle of the water. How can you buy them? Every part of the earth is sacred to my people. Breathe that in. Because when we move from the idea of the earth being for sale and we take in the idea from Aldo Leopold, who says, because it's very clear to think of many people, the earth is on fire. Simple as that. And the slide, it shows there's the firemen attempting to put the earth out, put the fire out. And the little earth, you know, what the heck, Yun's guys are killing me here. Because the way we are polluting the planet and not effectively caring for it, right? But Aldo says we abuse land, we abuse the earth because we regard it as a commodity that belongs to us. When we see the land as community to which we belong, we may begin to use it and live upon it and live with it with love and respect. Now, look at this next slide image and tell me if this looks like love and respect to you. It is our lack of sacred awareness that has caused us to desecrate the planet and all life upon it, including ourselves. I want us to breathe this in, because if we're going to create a world that works for all, then it's important that we must change the way we have been doing things and create new ways of. How do we manage this thing called trash when we have landfill after landfill after landfill after landfill after toxic dump after toxic dump after toxic dump? There ain't but so much space on this tiny blue marble. At some point, it's going to become a tiny blue marble covered in trash. So I want to segue to this idea of keeping this in mind, the idea of holy land, the way we normally think of it, right? This next slide shows two distinct texts, and both of them have the title, or in the title, Holy Land. Now, they're specifically referencing the concept of Holy Land being a specific place designated to a specific people. And when we have this idea, as the little bony man in the middle of the slide says, you claim particular lands and people as holy, yet simultaneously causing harm to other lands and to other people. See, that's what happens when I claim this place here, right here, right here, right here where I am, sacred and holy, then clearly where they are can't be. And if where I am is sacred and holy, then it means I must be of I'm sacred and holy myself because I am of this land and they are not. Therefore, you're not what we are. And when we other people to that degree and deem them as less than sacred or non-sacred or secular or what's even what? Sacrilegious, blasphemous, heathens. Many of these such words are used. And then what usually follows is some form of extermination. We saw this with Hitler. When you dehumanize, we saw it with the transatlantic slave. We understand this. We understand this. So why are we playing tug of war with the earth? Right? This next slide, it's a very graphic way of recognizing there are people tugging. Why do you fight over something that is not yours to own? And if we keep tugging and keep tugging, the earth is going to crack apart, as the next slide shows. It's going to crack open, and there is going to be more and more and more pain and trauma. So why are we destroying things that cannot be repaired? The earth is not a piece of Japanese pottery that we can use kintsugi for and join it with gold. And there are certain things that, right? Not too long ago, there was an incident called, here in the United States, called 9/11. And many years ago, there was an incident in Japan in Hiroshima and Nagasaki. The damage that was done cannot be undone. The harm that was caused in all of these events cannot be undone. We can heal and move forward, but once something is destroyed to a certain degree, it cannot be repaired. It can only be leveled and then healed and addressed, and then something new built where that once stood. Some relationships, once they have ended, if there's something with, when my parents died, if there was something that was unsaid between them and me and them, once they made their transition, that communication is no longer. So why not be where we are right now? And as Greta Thunberg says in this next slide, all we have to do is wake up and change. As Maya said in her opening, be woke, wake up, and yes, wake up. But just waking up is not the same as getting up. So wake up, then get up and get into action. Treat and move your feet. As Dr. Holmes said, you know, my paraphrase, one of the problems with this new order of thinking and thought and the age of is that we engage in too much theory and too little practice. So just waking up, you know, we've all done it at some time or another. We wake up, we lay in the bed, we just, we just chill in the bed. Just knowing wait, let me check my calendar. I should probably get up and get moving. Breathe. There is an ancient, and I've heard it from various things, but I'll share the Hopi version of it. The Hopi prophecy that says, when the earth is ravaged and the animals are dying, a new tribe of people shall come onto the earth from many colors, classes, creeds, and who by their actions and by their deeds shall make the earth green again. And they will be known as the warriors of the rainbow. Is that us? Are we the ones we've been waiting for? Albert Einstein said, look deep into nature and then you will understand everything better. But why? Because nature is God expressing. And as Pythagoras reminds us, the greater our understanding and awareness of self, the greater our understanding and awareness of both the universe and God, because that which God is all there is. And so self-knowledge increases my ability to have knowledge and connection with others. See, the more self-aware I am, the more my connection with Vance, right? The more my understanding, the more my empathy, the more I understand we are not simply two separate individuals, but we are two distinct expressions of the divine. Which is one reason why I say, in Genesis, when it said, am I my brother's keeper? And I'm like, no, I am not my brother's keeper. No, I am not my sister's keeper. No, I am not my transgender, non-binary, non-gender conforming siblings keeper. I am them. They are me. We are expressions of oneness. And the more I can look into the nature of Ray, the more I understand the nature of God, the more I am able to understand the nature of harmony and peace and love and compassion, no matter what is going on. As Frank Lloyd Wright said, oh, I believe in God, only I spell it nature. Take that in for a second. Because Elizabeth Barrett Browning says, the earth is crammed with heaven, but only those who see it, only those who recognize it are the ones who remove their shoes. And that's clearly a reference to, do not come any closer, take off your sandals, for the place where you are standing is holy ground. Do you realize the place where you are right now, the place where you are sitting, the place where you are laying, the place where you are standing right now is holy ground? No matter where you are, your office, your bedroom, a classroom, doesn't matter where you are, it's holy ground. But do you recognize it as holy ground? And holy, not because there was something specific about the land, the room, the floor, but because it is an expression of the divine. And when we recognize that, it's God recognizing God as. Breathe. So in what way are we invited to move into this greater awareness? As was mentioned in the song, and it's mentioned in this next slide, humankind has not woven the web of life. We are but one thread within it. Whatever we do to the web, we do to ourselves. All things are bound together. All things connect, which we understand as God is a circle, right? You've heard me mention this before. And the next slide, for me, perfectly aligns this idea of the web and what we understand. Science of mind, open at the top. God is a circle, circumference nowhere, center everywhere. That means right where you are, God must be. If God is right where you are, the center of God is where you are. That's the thing. Remember what I said at the beginning? When there's no somewhere, it's everywhere to the degree that there is no where. It's just God. So right where you are, God. Right as you are, God. Going shopping, God. Getting on the train, God. Going downtown, God. In traffic, God. God. Everywhere. So breathe. And as our final slide says, our invitation is, what does it mean for us to take responsibility for our own mental equivalence? To take responsibility for how we show up on this earth. Take responsibility for how we interact with one another as God expressing. How are we experiencing the sacred? Not simply as when I go to this place. Yes, it's a beautiful place. Yes, but it's no more sacred than another place in terms of this place has more God than that place. That place doesn't have the same amount of God. What? That's not possible. God, all there is. Same amount, all there is. Center of God, everywhere. So everywhere is just as sacred, including, remember the landfills? That is sacred ground as well, but we are not treating it as sacred. We are treating it as a toilet, a place to simply dump trash and the unusables and the unwantables and the yeah. How many of us would go to the Vatican and just dump well, if we tried to, they would arrest us and remove us. Why? Because the Sistine Chapel, this is a holy place. This is a sacred place. This is a beautiful place. And we are desecrating it, desacratizing it, making it less sacred by our actions, even though that's not really possible. But the consciousness of it is what we are bringing into space. And then how are we invited to ground ourselves in nature? Because the more we are in this space of nature, the more we are able to see and recognize how the infinite universe operates, right? That's why we use butterflies and the metamorphosis as an example of evolution and transformation of our consciousness. That's nature showing us how the universe operates, showing us how God moves, shifts, and changes. We use things like the waves on the beach, and we use examples like, I'm not the whole ocean, but I'm a drop in the ocean, and we use nature examples. Why? Because it's another way of talking about God. And if that's another way of talking about God, then it's another way of talking about ourselves. If that's the case, then how are we taking responsibility for ourselves, for our sacred experience of self, and grounding ourselves in nature? Because when we do so, we then take on the responsibility of caring for others, assisting others in experiencing the sacred of themselves and their surroundings. And we help our indigenous siblings protect and defend the earth itself. As Jane Goodall says on this last slide, what you do makes a difference. And you have to decide what kind of difference you want to make. You have to decide what kind of difference you want to make. Because no matter what, you are making a difference. No matter what, you are making a difference. Is the difference life affirming or non-life affirming? Is the difference sacred and comforting and loving and peaceful? Or is the difference discord, disharmony, angst? Because no matter what, there's only one mind. And what we think in that mind, as that mind, we are creating in one way, shape, or form. Our thoughts affect our bodies. And so when we go out into the world, that thought that is affecting the body shows up as an action. No matter what, we are making a difference. So our invitation in this moment is to understand that we get to choose the kind of difference we are going to make. So if you're with me, let's choose to recognize Holy Land is everywhere because God is everywhere. Wherever I am, God is, and holy ground is, the Holy Land is, the sacred is, all of us, right here and right now. Choose wisely, and so it is.
Thank you, Reverend Dr. Ray. An awesome talk and a lot to think about there. So we'll see you over on Zoom in just a little bit. All right.
Yes.
All right. So my new minister sacred covenant easy prayer. You can read this with me. You can download it from our website. There is only one life. This life is good. This life is God. This life is my life now. And knowing that I am one with this life that is God, I therefore know that I am one with all of its blessed expressions, which includes the presence of a new minister for my beloved spiritual community. Because I know that the highest purpose of my new minister is to express spirit, I therefore know that my new minister is a revelation of spirit as principle. I further know that my new minister is the fulfillment of that which has been promised by God, for it is written, principle is not bound by precedent. It operates according to law and is always available to those who are willing to align themselves with it. As I stand in agreement with my beloved community, I see my new minister before me as inspiring spiritual oneness through wisdom, love, and authenticity. I now intend to experience my new minister in full cooperation and agreement with my community, knowing this truth about myself. For I am inspired to live as love in the expression of principle. I am awakening the wisdom within me by clearly communicating the principles of universal truth. I am a conduit of divine love, wisdom, and healing energy, recognizing the inherent wholeness within all beings. I am offering teachings, classes, and mystical studies grounded in spiritual principles to cultivate inner wisdom, personal transformation, and empowered living. I am extending the love, compassion, and transformative power of spirit into the wider community, fostering connections that heal, uplift, and support individuals in their unique journeys. As I now accept the highest expression of a new minister into my life, I know that they will be revealed in a way that will express spirit and serve the highest and greatest good of all who are touched by their presence. I am grateful, God is gracious, and so it is. Now it's time for our conscious giving. So you can donate to us at cslmidtown.org/donate. You can scan the QR code on the screen. You can do a one-time donation or set up an ongoing donation. And we appreciate all of your support. And if you will now say with me our affirmation of prosperity. I live in a universe of abundance. As I freely and joyfully give, I join in the divine flow. And all that I share with life returns to me multiplied abundantly. And so it is. So we had a few announcements. Next week, we have Dr. Tracy Brown speaking on inner illumination. That's online. And the adult study group is reading the Science of Mind textbook Sundays at 10 a.m. on our Zoom channel. Go to cslmidtown.org, scroll down to the Zoom link, click that, and that will get you there with the passcode. Same for joining us for the discussion with Dr. Ray after this. Our auction is now live. Click the link in the orange bar on the website, cslmidtown.org, right underneath that green banner. You'll see an orange banner. It will take you right to the auction. It's live, so you can bid on all of those things 24/7. We appreciate that. It's our kind of raising things to help us get this new minister that we've been treating for. And if you would now, we will do our affirmation of life. I leave this place now knowing something better than I knew before. I go forth into the world with a heart full of love and a mind full of good sense. I look at the world in a greater way. knowing that I have within me everything I need to create the life I desire. I give thanks for this understanding, and I am grateful for the spirit of life that lives through me. And so it is. Thanks, everybody. Have an awesome week, and we will see you online next week. Or come join.
I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful for all that I have. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful for all that I have. Hey, oh yeah, grateful. I just say I am so grateful every day for all I have. Every day, I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful for all I have. Every day I say it. Grateful. How I'm grateful. Every day. Oh yeah. I am so grateful. Oh yeah. I'm so grateful. 'Cause I accept and I receive. I am so grateful. Oh yes, I am. I am. I am. So grateful, hey, grateful. I'll just count my blessings. Grateful. I just count my blessings.
There is a power for good in the universe greater than you are, and you can use it.